Well, hi again. I didn't mean for there to be two parts to that video, but I messed up on the end of that first video, so I had to truncate it, and I'm going to start again right here. So I was talking to you about how blood circulates from the right side of the heart. Let me show you. From the right side of the heart, where it collects when it's already made its trek around the body and is oxygen poor, gets pumped through the pulmonary arteries to the lungs where it picks up oxygen, gives off carbon dioxide, comes back into the left side of the heart where it's now fresh, ready to be pumped to all the rest of the different parts of the body. And so you see this muscle wall is very thick because that left side of the heart gives a huge push, and with the pressure from that push, the blood gets pumped to all the different parts of the body. So it takes this oxygen-rich, this red blood to the different cells in the body, gives away its oxygen, picks up its carbon dioxide, and at the same time carries and picks up, lots of other different things that the different parts of the body need. So on its trek through the human body from the aorta, from the left side of the heart, where it's just come from the lungs and picked up a lot of oxygen, the blood makes a number of different sort of sub-circuits. The circulation from the heart to the lungs and back to the heart again is called pulmonary circulation. That's what we just looked at. There's also something called portal circulation, and this is related to the digestive system, which you learned about yesterday and last week as well. And so here's the liver, and you see the descending aorta, and you see the inferior vena cava here. And so these big tubes are carrying blood away from the heart and to the heart. And as blood is traveling away from the heart and to the heart, it passes through the liver, where the liver especially looks at the blood that has just come from the digestive system, so the stomach, the large intestine, the small intestine. The blood goes directly from those digestive organs to the liver, where it does sort of like a quality control, and make sure that there's nothing that we ate that needs to be disposed of before the blood travels through the rest of the body, so the liver has a detoxifying function. And then it also can pick up things that came from the digestive system for storage or for processing functions that the liver does just naturally. That type of circulation is called portal circulation. So through the liver is portal circulation. Another type of circulation is renal circulation, and I always forget which ones are shown on which side. Sorry. Okay, there's pulmonary. Oh, okay, there's coronary, but let's talk about renal first. Okay, so these are our kidneys, and when blood travels in and then back out our kidneys, that's called renal circulation. And as the blood flows through our kidneys, the kidneys remove the nitrogenous waste called urea from the kidneys, and they make urine from it. That urine is transported through these tubes called ureters down into the bladder, where it can then be released from the body. And the kidneys also help regulate the amount of water that's in the blood. So they help us keep from getting dehydrated by making sure that not too much water is taken from the body and made into urine, that just the right amount is. So that's renal circulation. And then we talked about coronary circulation. Now you may think that your heart muscle itself, which needs a lot of oxygen and needs a lot of sugar for its mitochondria to be able to have enough ATP to keep pumping, from the beginning, even before the baby's even born till the time the person dies. But it's not fed from the blood that is held within the heart. It has its own system of arteries that branch off from the aorta called coronary arteries that feed the cells of the heart. So that means that if these coronary arteries get blocked and we can't get blood from the aorta to these other parts of the heart, then these parts of the heart would be oxygen starved and sugar starved. So they wouldn't be able to carry out aerobic cellular respiration. They wouldn't have the energy they need to carry out their normal functions. And when cells run out of energy, they die. If they die, they stop working. They'd probably stop working before they die, but when they stop working, that means the heart stops beating. When the heart stops beating, we say we have cardiac arrest or a heart attack. So when you hear people having coronary arteries or bypass surgery, what that means is that these arteries that feed the heart have become blocked, and that can be for genetic reasons or for dietary reasons or different medical conditions that can lead to these arteries being blocked. If they're blocked, then surgeons can do some different things. They can put a stent in the artery to keep it open. They can bypass the artery. Sometimes you hear about having a bypass surgery. That's when they can take an artery and kind of make a bypass around the existing block, just like you would a roadblock. You take a detour. You can kind of take a detour around that and still feed the rest of the heart. So that's why one part of heart health is making sure that we do things that allow our coronary arteries to remain healthy. Okay, so that's the different paths of circulation. Let me see what else. I should talk a little bit about the differences between arteries and capillaries and veins. I've been kind of throwing those words around without really talking about the differences very clearly. So let me go back to our notes here. And so there's pictures of these in your book, but there's arteries and capillaries and veins are the different types of piping, basically, that your blood can flow through. Capillaries are the tiniest. They're just one single cell layer thick. There's 50,000 miles of capillaries in your body. Every cell in your body is either next to a capillary or a super short distance away from a capillary, because the capillaries are where the exchange happens between your blood and your cells. So they're very thick and microscopic. Arteries and veins are thicker, and they don't allow for exchange of materials between them and the environment. They're just piping, just portals through which the blood can flow. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. So you can remember away and artery both start with A, and veins carry blood to the heart. They have very similar structure, except the arteries are a little bit thicker, and the veins actually have these valves in them to help prevent the blood from flowing in the wrong direction in them. And that makes sense if you understand that if arteries are carrying blood away from your heart, let's say you're standing up and your arteries carry your blood away, like say from your heart down to the rest of your body. Well, if you're standing up, then the process of the force of gravity is going to help carry your blood away from your heart, and it's not naturally going to want to flow in the opposite direction against the force of gravity. But when you're trying to bring your blood up, say like from your toes back towards your heart, then it has to travel against the force of gravity. And so there's something that's always kind of pulling it back down as it's trying to go up. And so the valves in the veins keep that blood, they're like one-way doors, and they keep the blood from coming back down the vein once it's up there. And so God has designed ways for us to be able to deal with the force of gravity as we live in this world. Let's see, I wanted to show you, your book does have a drawing of the differences between arteries and veins. So like I said, arteries are thicker, made of the same basic substances. Here's the valve in the veins. And another thing that helps our veins be able to keep the blood moving in the right direction is that our muscles, especially in our legs, like our calf muscles, push against the veins and squish them. And when it squishes them, it forces the blood to go upward. Blood can't go downward because this door's closed. So when it's squished, it has to move up through the valves. And it helps us push the blood upward toward our heart. Okay. I can't find where I am here. Okay. So that's all for today, and I doubt I'll have time for another video like from a different source to show you some of this in animated form, but I'll have some for you up on the LMS tomorrow. And just let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Okay, bye-bye.